Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Gerard, Black in the Philippines with the Truth. Editor-in-Chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka SGIB Magazine, stand for Soldiers Got Intentions, Believe That. You know, I've been wanting to post a video for a little bit, but I have one ahead of this one that will go into more detail or clarification of what's being said in this video. So once my editors are able to come and correct the problem, then I'll post it. But in the meantime, it's a beautiful Sunday morning or Sunday evening, and I am going to pleasure myself, hopefully, by getting nice. This is Tanqueray. It's a very popular rum here in the Philippines. Very cheap. Okay. But before I get into what I want to tell you about, I want to show you something. You know, do you know what compulsive buying is? Compulsive buying is like when you got everything you need in a supermarket and you're about ready to check out, and then you look to the either side and you see something and you say, "Oh, I'll buy it." That's, you buy it on impulse, you know, or you know, it's just something that you don't give very much thought to when you buy it or before you buy it. So I want to show you how my impulse buying got me in trouble and in the doghouse until December. Okay, but first let me show you. First let me show you the Jeep. A lot of you seen the Jeep. You've seen the Jeep in one of my earlier videos. I hope you can see it there. Yeah, you can see it. It belongs to a girlfriend of mine's husband who is in Britain, who's not coming back. But they knew I was looking for a vehicle, told me that I could use it. They said, "Oh, Gerard, all it needs is a battery." That's like saying, "Oh, he's just a friend." God bless Biz Markie. R.I.P, my brother. You did a lot of good things. Your parents done well. But anyway, by the time it was over and done with, it was more than a battery. I put a lot of money into getting it fixed, or I should say restored, because that's what it was. Especially with all the breakdowns and all that stuff. But now it's a good, dependable vehicle. I like it. I enjoy it. And it's something I spoke with for now and then. Now the impulse buying that I did was not something like this. It was this. Can you see it? It's a 98 Toyota pickup truck. A girlfriend of mine said to me, "Gerard, I want to sell my truck. I give you a good deal on it, on payments." I said, "Good deal on it, really? On payments?" I said, "Sure." Without any thought of my money, my finances, or anything. Not giving any of that a whole hell of a lot of thought. But as a result, it's very nice, very roomy, and most importantly, it has, how they call it, air conditioner, which is great. So, you know, I got to the point where once I bought it, I realized I had no money left. So then I said to them, I said, look, please take it back. Please tear up the contract. We had gone to the lawyer's office and all that before then. I said, "Look, please tear up the contract." I said, "I'll give you 35,000 pesos and you can take your truck back." They said, "No, Gerard, we sold it to you. You are bound by the contract and we don't want it back." I said, "Wow." I said, so I'm kind of stuck, you know, as far as budget-wise is concerned. But it's a small thing to a giant. So that's a compulsive buying. Now, I initially wanted to do this at the beach, and I wanted to yell out, "They can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth." You know, which is what I'm about ready to lay on you now, the truth. You know, I've tried writing about 3 or 4 books. You know, She's Easy to Kill. I Never Learned to Play Pac-Man, and Just My Life as a Double OGee. But I never really found the discipline, I guess, to fully finish it. Darren Butler, she has done a couple of books. James has done a book. You know, these are people who I know, and they are inspiring me or motivating me to. But it seems like every time I get into a momentum to do it, something comes into my life that kind of stops me and takes my mind off of it. Just like doing videos, you know, what have you. But anyway, I also have a rocking chair in my house. Yeah, I can show it to you. While I'm doing this, let me show you the rocking chair. Can you see it? That's my rocking chair. And you know, it's a funny thing how things often remind us of things in our past. And the rocking chair definitely reminds me of my past in North Carolina, because my grandmother, God bless the soul, Cora Lee McCoy, used to have one in the house, and she would sit in it every day and rock. And I would let me do this, because I don't want to get up and close the door. I don't like that door open. It's kind of like a distraction. It's not so bad. But anyway, she would rock in here. She would rock in the chair. And she would read the Bible. She also dipped snuff, you know, in a lip like this and spit snuff. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. You know, I didn't want to take the chance of having music being played, especially that soft rock that they were playing, that might result in, you know, my video not being posted because of copyright, for the reason of copyright. But anyway, I was telling you about my grandmother, Cora Lee McCoy, and how she would rock in that rocking chair. She would have, she dipped snuff. She had a spit can. Then every now and then she would say, "Boy, go empty my spit can." And it was like, whoa, oh my God, oh. You emptied it, put dirt in it, and bring it back in. And she would stay in that rocking chair, and she would rock, she would hum. My Aunt Christine would play the piano, you know, from time to time. And my grandfather, Thaddeus McCoy, he'd be sitting in his chair, his recliner, watching TV or watching the news, you know, and Cora would eventually get tired and go to bed. Thad would go to bed too. And are you ready for the truth now? Because if you can't handle the truth, you might as well stop this video right now. Because I'm about, you know, my mother, God bless the dead, you know, for whatever reason, she put in her will, for reasons only known to me, I leave my son Gerard nothing. And for whatever reason she didn't leave me anything. She left everything to my other siblings, and, you know, whatever happened, what happened. Even had it in the will to throw me out the house. I said, wow, you're going to evict me from the grave? God damn. And my 2 brothers were like, well, that's what she said. But thank God for my stepfather, Joe, who's an Italian guy. God bless the dead too on him. You know, I can honestly say he turned a hoe into a housewife too. So, you know, he did wonders with my mother. And And we went through it with him too. You know, my mother used to throw him out every night when he come in for Ford Motor Company. He used to call me, Gerard, bring my shaving kit. Because he didn't have time to grab his shaving kit. So I would take his shaving kit to him down the block. He would give me $20 or something like that, and it was good. And one time, my mother was holding on to the door of this Cadillac, and he drug her about, goddamn, about half a block because she didn't want him to go. But he was like, fuck this shit. But he bought her a house out in Long Island, and it took a little bit, but she stopped drinking. But the reason she stopped drinking, she told me later, she said, do you know why I stopped drinking? I said, no. She said, remember a couple of years ago, you asked me for help because you didn't have no money because you spent your money on moving too fast? Y'all know what that means. So I said, yes. She said, well, I prayed to God because I was with my 2 daughters and the mother of my kids. She said, I prayed to God and I asked God, if you help me get this money, I will stop drinking. My mother sent the money. My mother stopped drinking. It was unbelievable. And I guess you could say I helped her stop drinking. But she stopped drinking. She said, from going from a quart of Smirnoff a day, she went to like a wine spritzer. It was a little red wine and a little ginger ale or something like that. But she stopped drinking. And I was really touched that when she told me about that. But anyway, my grandmother would go to sleep, and Christine, which is an aunt of mine, she's like 9 months or 14 months older than I am, same age as me. I remember she had a girlfriend called Florence. Florence called her something liking somebody, but I don't know. I didn't know much about that. But she had a brother named Chubb. Chubb and Leon, he guys were 2 peas in a pod. Chubb was this huge blue-black brother, and just playful as he wanted to be. He looked in the order book, and he had a Oldsmobile, and saw that you could buy a whistle that had wolf calls, you know, like, ooh, like that. So he ordered it, and when he got it and installed it on his car, it was like, wee! It was nothing like a wolf call. You call for girls or anything like that. Like, wee! But at least I know they sent you something. So anyway, let me jump back a little bit. When I was young, I ordered a set of books called Crime and Punishment from Time Life. So they sent me one issue. I wasn't a reader at all, very little. But I was able to, kind of get the gist of crime. I guess the thing would be that I was fascinated with murder. The Boston Strangler, Charles Lindbergh kidnapping, a number of other cases I can't remember. But I had it in my head that I wanted to commit perfect murder. It was in my head. And I went through life looking at people, thinking that, oh, I bet I could kill him and get away with it. Oh, I bet I could kill her and get away with it. And in the 80s, I was living in Santa Cruz. And I always joke with people, they're going to find my DNA and come get me. I always joke with people like that. But I had a girlfriend. She was Jewish. Nobody wanted her. She was one of the girls who talked to herself. But what the hell? I let her live with me, and she was my girlfriend. And finally, she stole some stuff from me and ran off. And I said, okay, goodbye to bad rubbish. That's how I looked at it as, And I had a little Triumph Spitfire. I remember when I first saw the car, it was a sister who had it. My friend Bob Lavandowski, we were watching her, because we kept talking about how nice she was like this. So she come downstairs, diddy bopping, and get into a little Spitfire, boom, Triumph, and drove off. About a half hour later, she was having a car towed back. So we went downstairs and said, what was wrong with it? Well, that time, Bobby started opening up the hood. She said, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is that I want to sell it. So I said, Bobby, stop. Don't touch the vehicle. Don't touch it. My thing was that if she drove it away, there can't be that much wrong with it to bring it here like this. So I said, how much you want for it? She said she wanted 1,000. I said, I'll give you 700. So she took the 700. We opened up the hood, and all it was tightening the battery, tightening the spark plugs, changing spark plugs like this, and boom, it was fine. So I drove it to a Triumph dealer, which is like a little ways away, and I said, how much they give me for this? They said they give me $2,000 for it. I said, oh no, I don't want to sell it. I just want to make sure I have a good deal. So that's how I got the Triumph Spitfire, then with her, with Bobby. But anyway, so one night it was raining, and Bob and I used to work at Ford Motor Company together. We were mud and jet. We were partners. So I'm laughing because he told me when he moved to California, he said, hey, anytime you want to come to California. He said, come to San Jose. I said, okay. So I had this girl in my apartment building who always did my hair every Friday, and she just got back from California. She was talking about California. And while she was talking, my mind was thinking, damn, I can move to California. What's keeping me here? What I'm doing now, I can do anywhere in the world. Like what I'm doing now, I can do anywhere in the world. So 2 weeks later, I packed up all my stuff, sent it to Flying Tiger. That was the cargo, air cargo that flew my stuff over there. When it landed, my box opened, so I told them I'm missing cameras, and they gave me money for the lost cameras. But I knocked on Bobby's door, and Bobby said, Gerard! I said, yeah, man, what's up? You told me whenever I was in California, stop by. So I stopped by, so I ended up living with them for a while. They had a girlfriend. I guess they were all wondering, what kind of lover I am, so they nominated her. So I took her home, and so we got busy in the car, and I did what I had to do, and she was, is that it? So I guess the word kind of got around that I was a lousy lay, but it's okay, there's nothing new. So anyway, so one night I was driving and it was raining, and I saw the girl, the Jewish girl, and she was standing at the bus stop, and it was raining. So I said, wow. I said, I could kill her. So I went home. I put gloves in the car. I put a knife in the car. I put rope in the car. And I went back to pick her up. And when I picked her up, she was talking to this guy at the bus stop. So I said, come on, get in. So she got in, and so I took her up to Santa Cruz, which I later found out that was the dumping ground for a lot of serial killers. But then I said to myself, he saw her get into my car. I said, that will be the reason why I would be found out. I'm the only black man in the area driving a sports car, red sports car, so I would be easy to be found. Plus her ex-boyfriend. So we went up to Santa Cruz, to one of the isolated areas, and you know, we had sex. We were doing what we had to do, and I brought her back down. But the strangest thing happened to me. All the desire, the craving of wanting to kill somebody was gone. You know what I'm saying? Because I went through those motions of doing away with her, it was enough to satisfy me internally to not want to kill anybody. And I started thinking about there are people, how serial killers, how murders, and how they all come about, you know, because, you know, they get to a point where is that they cross that line. They, you know, they cross that. They crossed that threshold and weren't able to stop and went on to fulfill that craving. So anyway, so I'm in North Carolina, and before I tell you, know, getting my age, which sometimes I'm 66, I'm 67, something like this, someone always has to remind me how old I was, because I never paid attention to my birthday. I was 56 before I had my first birthday cake with my name on it, you know. So a lot of times my birthday passed, and when I was 18, I got my birth certificate. I found out I was celebrating the wrong birthday, and my father was not my father, etc., etc., etc. So anyway, so what happened was that I had a friend named Bobby Malloy. Oh, I know. That when you get older, you know, and I'm still searching for my blackness. I'm still searching for my culture. I'm still searching on why, you know, I wasn't involved in marches. I'm trying to understand why I wasn't aware of what was going on around me. There was no one in my household who was, you know, who cared about what was happening in the social stratosphere, what was going on. You know, my age, I'm watching movies that I should have watched when I was coming up. The Bus Is Coming, you know, Let's Do It Again, a lot of movies that stimulated, you know, the conflict and what was happening between blacks and police and society and the man and all that stuff like that, you know. The black exploitation films, you know, there was nobody taking me to those, see those, and explain to me what was happening there. You know, instead it was the TV shows were, you know, Family Affair with Buffy and Jody, you know, My Three Sons, you know, shows of that nature. Oh, that's what I was. The Donna Reed show. Oh, I was in love with Donna Reed. Oh my God. You know, so now I'm settling in and I'm watching those movies, you know, that I should have watched. You know, the evolution of music from jazz, you know, to the blues, you know, to soul. You know, I find myself watching these shows now that are eons old, explaining about, you know, the soul sound. You know, I knew the music. Don't get me wrong. I've heard the music, but I wasn't aware of what was going on with the music. You know. So, you know, I watched this Clint Eastwood movie, and it was called High Plane Drifter. And you know, those are the movies I went to. I went to the Clint Eastwood movies. I went to John Wayne movies. Errol Flynn movies. Gary Cooper movies. I was going to those movies. I wasn't going to see Cap Calloway. I wasn't going to see Duke Ellington. I wasn't going to see even Dizzy Gillespie in those times. And my uncle used to play with Lionel Hampton, our slide trombone, but he never sat me down and like this. So anyway, this movie, Clint Eastwood rides into town. There's a reason why I'm going this way. Clint Eastwood rides into town, and he gets off this horse, and this woman comes, blah, 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 blah. He's like, God damn, why are you on my dick? Well, why you like this? So he said, okay. So he grabs her by the back of her hair. Now this is for the whole town. This is broad daylight. He drags her into the barn, rips her clothes off, and rapes her. Just like that. And nobody cares nothing about it in the town. Nobody raises a finger. Nobody says nothing. But then, she later on becomes his girlfriend, which is one of those things that I said that, if you rape somebody, if they like it, they may come back. If they don't like it, they call in the police on your ass. And this is something I put on my head. I was with this girlfriend. I'm not gonna tell you her name because you know her. She's a good friend of mine. And I did a video called Guns for Jobs. And if you look at it, Google it, Guns for Jobs. And it was a program I was trying to push out there to have people turning guns for jobs, because I believe that there was a lot of summer jobs given away each year, and they should give it to the youth who turn in handguns. One of those type of things. So anyway, what happened was that I had a blank 45. It wasn't real, but it was authentic. So she came over my house, and so when she came to my house, I pulled the gun, put it to her head, and pushed her to the bed, and started taking off her clothes, and then I started laughing like this, and dropped the gun like this. She said, "Why'd you stop?" I said, "Oh, no." So anyway, that kind of blew my mind. So the reason I'm telling you this is because, Bobby and I, we used to go to, my grandmother used to take us to church 3 or 4 times a week. Bible school, Sunday school, church, and whatever else that was happening in between. So we had to go to church about 3 times a week. So one time, him and I had gone to church, and we picked up this girl named Shirley McCoy, I think her name was. And we were walking through the field, and we raped her. Bobby was on top of her like this, and he's parting the panties, and I got on top. I said, "Fuck that," and I ripped the panties off, and I'm doing that. Bobby says, "My turn." I said, "Hell no, fuck this." You know what I'm saying? And and I was actually involved in a rape. Now this was a time when I had a girlfriend who I used to go to a pool every week, every day. And we would go to the pool because a pool was a way of making sure that everybody washed their ass. So we went to the pool, and after the pool, her and I would walk together in the woods, and we would pull the towel down, and we would do it. We would do it every day. And it was like, wow. And when the summer was over and we went back to New York, she called and said that she was pregnant. And so when I told my mother changed the number, and I never heard from her again. I went back there, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago or something like that. And I looked up, and she said, yeah, she had a son. I said, well, where is he? And she told me where he was, and I went to the house, and When I pulled into the yard, about 4 motherfuckers came out. How much you want? How much you want? How much you want? I said, well, I must have the wrong address. And I backed up and I pulled off. Because if one of them was one of my sons, I was not going to get out there and tell them I'm your daddy in the midst of a drug deal. You know, and I gave him my number and said, if you ever want to know who his father is, you gotta give me a call. He never did. One of those things. Now, let's get back to my aunt. Her name is Christine. Now, Christine used to sleep on the couch. I would be in a rocking chair and I would be rocking in a rocking chair. The rocking chair. I would be rocking in a rocking chair. How long is this so far? I can't see. We keep talking a bit. So I'll be rocking in a rocking chair and I'll be looking at Christine. And I will watch for Christine to start drooling. Christine was a drooler when she went to sleep. When she was deep in her sleep, she would start, saliva would start coming out of her mouth. And that's when I knew it was time. So I would get off the rocking chair and I would go over to Christine. I raised the blanket off of her. I would look at her breasts. I would start touching her breasts. I would start pulling the covers up, looking at her crotch, start touching her. She never knew this. And I would do it almost every night. I would do it to her. Because she excited me so. As a girl there, as a woman there. You know, one time, I felt so guilty that I wrote a note to God. I said, dear God, because I felt I was going to die the next day. I said, dear God, please forgive me what I've done to her. I said, you know, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. And like this, and I put in the Bible. It was about 4 days later, I remember, the note in the Bible. So I read and got the note out of the Bible and then tore it up. So that was, that was that. Now, are you ready for the truth? Because if you can't handle the truth, just stop it. I had another aunt. Who used to live with us. And her name was Ann. And Ann used to be asleep on the sofa or laying down on the sofa. And she would tell me to come over. And I would come over. And Ann had big breasts. I wonder if that's where my fascination comes for big breasts. And I would get on top of her.